Hello, this is Roger Blakiston, and today we're going to be talking on the subject of happiness. Yes, happiness indeed. This is one of the great things that so many people I talk to seem to be wanting to pursue, and that's very much understandable. However, what is really true happiness? That's indeed a very deep question, because what happens for so many people is that they feel that happiness is something on the outside, something that can be bought. They think, for instance, an entertainer like myself might believe that if they become a big star, they're bound to be happy. If somebody else may think if I get a nice new house or a new car or a new large screen television, that's going to bring me happiness. And the truth is that it may bring a temporary kind of content, but true happiness can never be bought. And the simple reason is that happiness comes from within and not from without. And so many people look outward to get that happiness. They feel, oh, I'm going to, go out to the pub tonight, meet all the guys, sit around having a beer, and that's going to make me happy because at the moment I'm kind of feeling miserable. Well, it doesn't really work that way, because maybe the focus should be on, well, why is it you're feeling so miserable that you need to, go down to the pub tonight? Now, my real message today is to make you all realize that happiness can only ever come from within here. Now, certainly, there are many wonderful and beautiful things on the outside. Like, for instance, you could watch a beautiful sunset, or you could smell and hover over a wonderful aromatic red rose. And that's something just beautiful. You could watch, the birds in the sky. Beautiful. But the emotion that you get from them still comes from within. It's not actually the sunset itself, because that's an external thing, or the rose, that's an external thing. That's actually not what brings you the happiness. It's an inner feeling. It's an emotion. So I would like to talk for a moment, and it ties in with happiness, about acceptance and accepting what is. We live in a world where, as well as all the beauty and wonderful things, there are many disastrous things, which I've talked about on other little broadcasts of mine here on YouTube. A world completely gone insane, with terrorism and all sorts of awful things. But let me just bring it into a much more simple level. Maybe in your home, you go into the china cabinet, you open the door, and the teapot falls out, and all the china falls onto the floor, and all breaks into pieces. And you get angry, you lose your temper. So who are you losing your temper with? You certainly not losing it with the teapot, are you? Or with the china? Or maybe you're starting to blame your partner for putting it, or your husband or wife for putting it away, with the door not shut properly. Or are you maybe even blaming yourself? Well, the truth is that there's no blame necessary, because this is just something on a very small scale that does happen. Now, of course, we have to deal with things as they happen, So if you break all your china, you maybe have to go out and buy some more china. That's the way it is. If you see somebody, on the side of the street that's fallen over, or has a heart attack, of course you call the ambulance. I'm not telling you to ignore it. I'm simply telling you to accept that this stuff happens. People die. Family members die, and I'm not telling you shouldn't grieve, but it's a very important spiritual practice to actually accept that But all this stuff happens. And once you realize that you can accept it, you can actually move on with your life and become peaceful, because peace always comes from within. It never comes from without. You can have, wars raging around you, the world falling to pieces, but, you can be at, inner peace yourself. That is what this message is about today. So, for instance, the Buddha himself, the great Buddha, he spent many years wandering around India, looking for the secrets to enlightenment, the secrets to make himself happy and achieve bliss and be better. So he speaks to many of the gurus and the sages, the wise sages, who are all giving him different bits of advice, some of it, controversial. At the end of the day, I'm sure you all know the story, he ends up under the banyan tree, but he feels he should suffer, so he declines food, goes on a fast and gets very thin and almost dies, and then suddenly realizes that this is enlightenment is something that's meant to be enjoyed. So he invites the ladies of the village to actually bring him food, which they do, and he becomes healthy again. So he achieves his enlightenment from within. So nothing outside is actually making him achieve the enlightenment. Obviously, we need the things of the world, like we need food and we need health and we need doctors, but at the end of the day, it's us that they're working on. It's inside, it's our soul, it's our spirit, and it's being at peace. So we could climb a mountain, say, look, I'm going to get to the top of this mountain. And you climb and you only get halfway up and you're feeling absolutely exhausted, and you say, I cannot believe that I'm unable to get to the top. But that's okay. That's okay. You've got halfway up. So don't beat up on yourself about this. We all have boundaries. We all have limits. So accept that we have those limits, and realize that being at inner peace and accepting what is, that is really so much of the key to life. Also giving in the same way as you help the person on the outside of the person who falls on the pavement, or the person who's maybe panhandling on the corner, and you give a couple of dollars to them. That's a good thing. It's you're giving, you're looking outwards and you're giving to your fellow human beings. But it's not always about money. And we're coming up now at the time of this particular recording. We're coming up to the wonderful festival of Christmas, and Christmas is not, and one realizes this as one goes on in life, one gets a little bit older and wiser, it's not really all about receiving. As a kid, you tend to think, oh, what am I going to get? What am I going to get? What do I need? But the truth is, Christmas and birthdays, it's all about giving. And when you give, you can get so much satisfaction. I actually remember, even as a child, when with my limited pocket money, I'd get a present from my mum or dad. I got great satisfaction out of watching them open it up, and I got all excited about it. I don't know what they thought of the presents, but so it's all about giving and not so much about receiving. But if somebody does give you a gift, please accept it, and accept it with gratitude. So that's really the gist of my little talk today. I hope you've got something out of it. It's really all to say that we accept what is, and of course, happiness, everyone's idea of happiness is a little bit different. I mean, for instance, I'm a performer. I love to, get up on stage, and I get tremendous happiness out of that. But it's not really the happiness, just the fact that there's, a bunch of people watching my show and clapping and applauding. It's the emotion that I receive from that is actually still all on the inside, I've known many people who are big stars, and they go out and they give wonderful shows, but they have their lives are messed up, and they're really not happy. So it becomes an act of happiness when they're out there performing, but they're actually not happy inside. But if you're at peace with yourself and you're at peace with your source, you will achieve great things. So that concludes my little talk, and there'll be more of these. So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you.